this hour, massive escalation in global tensions as Iran, we are learning, has fired a missile targeting a key US-UK military base in the Indian Ocean. According to the reports, we are learning that two intermediate-range ballistic missiles were launched towards the Diego Garcia base located nearly 4,000 kilometers away, marking a dramatic expansion of Iran's striking capability. So that's the latest we're learning as far as the attack on the key US-UK military base in the Indian Ocean is concerned. On that, let me once again bring in my colleague Srinjoy. Srinjoy, this is very concerning because under attack is one of the key bases belonging to US and UK, that is Diego Garcia, not too far from India as well, that is in the Indian Ocean, that has now come under attack. Give us more details about this.
Yes, this is south of India and in the Indian Ocean and 4,000 kilometers away from Iran. So when you aspire to strike Diego Garcia from Iran, you still have military ambitions. You still want to fight. Now, two intermediate-range missiles were fired at Diego Garcia, which means that after degrading the Iranian nuclear missile capability, even after that, there are still Iranian missiles left that can be used to target Diego Garcia. And these targets are so far away, 4,000 kilometers. You need intermediate-range ballistic missiles. Now we know two ballistic missiles were fired. One didn't make the cut. The other apparently was intercepted. Now, if it were intercepted, where was it intercepted? We don't know the details as yet. But we know two missiles were fired, and we don't know what kind of damage they caused, because the first, as I said, didn't make the cut. The other was intercepted. Where was it intercepted? What happened with the debris? How are the Americans going to deal with it now that Diego Garcia is a target? What is the British reaction? All of this now comes up, because if Iran is absolutely beaten, how is it that they are firing intermediate-range ballistic missiles at Diego Garcia?
Absolutely. It remains to be seen how UK has to respond to this, but this is a massive escalation in the global tensions as Iran has now fired missile targeting a key US-UK military base that is in Indian Ocean, not too far from India as well. But the bigger question to enjoy is this a warning shot or just the start of a much larger confrontation as far as US and Iran are concerned? But this is concerning because this is also a UK base and comes at a time when there are reports that UK has agreed to the demand that is coming from US to let it use the airbase belonging to UK. So is it a retaliation after that report has come to the fore?
That is entirely possible, because a lot of strikes can happen from Diego Garcia. You have B-2 bombers there. You have American bombers there. They can be used to strike Iran from Diego Garcia. So that's entirely possible. But what this missile will do, how much damage it has caused, we don't know. What we also don't know is how many more intermediate missiles, range missiles, with a range of 4,000 kilometers, does Iran still have. If they have a lot, then clearly Diego Garcia is an option, Israel remains an option, bases in Turkey, American bases in Turkey remain an option. So there is still firepower left if, assuming that there are more missiles that can be fired at Diego Garcia. The fact that two have been fired 21 days into the war suggests that Iran still has some of that missile capability, some of that drone capability left.
Absolutely, because in this at this point in time, we're learning that a US-UK military base in the Indian Ocean has come under attack. And just a while back, in fact, Iran's foreign minister has posted on social media that vast majority of British people do not want to be any part in this Israel-US war of choice on Iran, ignoring his own people. Mr. Starmer is putting British lives in danger by allowing UK bases to be used for aggression against Iran. Iran will exercise its right to self-defense. And after that, in fact, few hours later, we are witnessing that a key US-UK military base in the Indian Ocean has been attacked. Thank you so much, Ranjoy, for putting that into perspective. We'll continue to track this very closely. With this, a very short break. More news and updates on the other side.